Hey everybody, this is Grace. In this video I'm going to talk about the backstabbing type. Now the ones that do the smear campaign that's on you, that's behind the scenes, in person, when they're there with you or over the phone or whatever it is, they act as though they really like you. They're very friendly to you. But behind the scenes, yeah, they're, like I said, they're doing the smear campaign. They're telling other people things about you that aren't true. They're coming up with all kinds of scenes. Now, I've talked about this before, but I want to talk about a situation that started for me years ago. And it's on my mind again because of something that came up. And it involves this whole thing with the smear campaign. Okay. Now, in this one, it's an example of it, but it's real. It happened. It was online, and it started around, I'd say around 5 years ago. And it started on YouTube. It's still on YouTube as far as I know. I mean, I don't know if it's evolved since then. I have no idea. But are the people still doing it? Well, one of the women, I'm going to call her Sandy, is she was the one that was doing the backstabbing. Now, in this, I'm going to give an example of someone who believes those lies. And we're going to call her Joan. And like I said, this is real. It happened. I don't think they'll be admitting to it ever. But, yeah. Okay, like I said, it started about 5 years ago. And it went on for probably, I would say, at least a year. At some point, when I found out about, kept getting enough hints and stuff like that, I realized what was going on, and I just, pretty much that was it. For me, I don't really keep up and see what if it's still going on. Who knows? Sometimes these things will still go on, even though you're totally clueless, because like I said, they're doing it behind the scenes, and you would never suspect the person because they act so friendly. And that they're doing that to you. They're telling lies behind your back. They're backstabbing you in any way they can to get whatever they want. Sometimes it's just they want more attention online. In this situation, it seemed more like she wanted more attention and a way to, to get more followers or subscribers and more money. Okay, that was Sandy. And the other one, she wasn't out for money or but attention. I would say yes. The Joan, the one that believed it. So, okay. Now, have I made that all as clear as mud? Yeah, probably. But let me get into it. Like I said, about 5 years ago it started. Now, I had my original channel, YouTube channel, for, well, 5.5 years. I keep saying 5.5 years, but yeah, August will be 6 years. And like I said, it started about, probably 6 months or so into it, that this one woman, I've mentioned her before, she was my first real introduction to somebody who would copycat people. Okay, she wanted to build her channel to start getting money, add money, and I guess attention, and whatever it was, gifts from people. And she would at least steal my ideas. I don't know about anybody else's. And this was a shopping channel. Mine was a shopping channel. Like, I would go out. The big thing back then, I think it still was Dollar Tree. Okay, I'd go shopping at Dollar Tree, and I'd show what I had, and she would run out that same day and buy stuff and the same kind of things, and do hers on it within that day or the next day. Okay, the same every time. And I had somebody that actually watched it, and I said, watch what she does here. And she did that to me, and she did it to that woman I told to watch it. Yeah. Oh my God, she was really, and maybe she's still doing it. I don't know. Like I said, I've mentioned her before. That would be Sandy. Okay, that's not. I don't know anybody named Sandy. I don't know anybody named Joan. Those are the names I'm using. Okay, just fake names, pseudonyms. But anyway, so she kept doing that to me, and it was like, unbelievable. and whatever I did, she would do. Okay, and she did grow her channel. I just got tired of it, and like I said, after some time, and just I lost my interest in that, in doing those. I do them every once in a while, but now with things that are going on, I don't see myself getting back into that anytime soon. Okay, and I should mention that back then, it was kind of like, it was so different, and it was like, people had their own little cliques, and this one was part of the one that I was in. I'm not a joiner. I really don't join, but it was kind of like, everybody, those who watch me, I watch them, and, along that line, but I really wasn't too friendly with anybody, like too much of a friend. Some of them were, and they followed one another on Facebook, whatever was out there. Now, I don't do that, so, I was kind of more like on the sidelines. And now this other woman, Joan, she was pretty much on the sidelines too. She was more of, that she wanted people to be, subscribers for herself, but she really didn't care about, that group. She did those kinds of videos. It was more like she just wanted people to come to her. She didn't really want to go to them. Now, if they came to her, she would, watch their channels. But she was more like, in a way, independent. Kind of like me, in a way. More independent. But, now I ran across her, and I would leave her comments, and I never hear anything. Okay, never would she ever, she would comment on her channel, but she would never comment on mine. Okay, as far as I know, she never watched mine. So, and I thought, back then that was considered extremely rude. Okay, so, yeah. Okay, now as far as Joan, I don't know whether she does this on purpose, whether it was some kind of like online persona, or this is just how she is, but she was kind of like, now these are all around my age. She was kind of like, she wanted to seem as though she was a traditional homemaker from like from the 50s to the 70s. Seriously, just like everything even seemed that way, about her. And like I said, I don't know if she did it on purpose or whether it was her personality overall. But she was more, both of them were more to show their home, their, themselves, their home. I'm not anymore. I was kind of back then. I was back then, but not any longer. But anyway, but it was very odd that the things that she said, the things that she did, the way she did them were so 50, well, I should have, yeah, 50s, 60s, and 70s. So from way back then. I don't know, I didn't live during the 50s, but yeah. Okay. Anyway, she was very judgmental about anybody who didn't. Okay, she was very judgmental if they didn't basically follow her lead and think of her as the leader of all women. Okay, that's the impression she gave me. All of this is the impression they gave me. Okay, but I don't think I'm far off the mark there. So anyway, people like that, I'll watch them every once in a while just to see if they're doing the same thing. Just to see if they're still doing it, still carrying on the same way. And of course, I do a channel that's on basically that kind of toxic person, toxic people. And yeah, they don't change. They just get worse. And when they do, do it to somebody or some people, they just move on too, like I did, and say, screw that, I don't want to have anything to do with them. And they move on. With it's lather, rinse, repeat for them. They get more followers, and the followers move on, and more come, like I said, lather, rinse, repeat. Okay, enough about that part. Now, when the copycat one, Sandy, started copycatting me, this other one, Joan, I noticed that she would leave comments if I left her a comment, like I said. And sometimes in her videos, something made me think, wait a minute, I think she's talking about me. And what it was Sandy had been, Sandy found out I was on her channel leaving comments, and she would leave a comment too. But she was basically behind the scenes. Sandy was doing the smear campaign on me to this woman, backstabbing me to this woman, Joan. I was like, what the, and Joan kept giving out hints, okay? In other words, that Sandy was doing this, but Joan was acting like she was believing her. And I truly do believe that she believed her, whatever it was that Sandy said. I wouldn't know it was behind the scenes. So, yeah. Okay. So, yeah, drama queens. That's how I started seeing it, because I thought really did get the impression that Joan was the same type as far as wanting to get attention. In my lifetime, that's what I've seen the most. I call it now I coined it. I'd laugh when people coin something. But I coined it the dramatic dark triad. If you know anything about the dark triad, which is narcissism, psychopathy, and Machiavellianism. Well, I call it the dramatic dark triad as that they are histrionic, yeah, narcissistic, and sadistic. They get a thrill. Now, a thrill doesn't have to be sexual. They just get a thrill out of hurting other people. They love seeing other people somehow get hurt. And these two women, yeah, I'm not so sure about that last part, but the narcissistic and the histrionic behaviors stood out, really. Okay, now of course that's not me diagnosing them with a personality disorder. I'm not. I'm just saying their behaviors hinted. Now Sandy hinted more at narcissism and narcissistic behaviors, and Joan more toward being rather histrionic. Yeah, it just it had to stand out with all those differences. Going back to the 50s, 60s, and 70s kind of thing. It was very odd. So, okay, I said I was going to move on from that, but so then there was this time when Joan had a live stream, and on a live stream, you can chat and everything with all the people. So I thought, here I am. I'm going about doing my own business, my own thing. I have no idea all this is going on behind the scenes, except for those few little hints. So I joined this live stream and I started chatting just like everybody else. Well, all of a sudden, Joan started getting really rude to me. Okay, I'd make a comment and she'd come back with something really rude to me, pointing it out. It was to me. I'm like, okay, this is just too weird. Okay. And it kind of, I stuck around to try to figure, at some point I wanted to figure out what's going on. Well, basically I had my questions answered when somebody who didn't know me other than, I didn't know if she'd watched my channel, but at all, she never commented, like I said, on mine. And she had such a negative reaction to me. And my comments were more like, okay, my comments were more like, just along with the same as other people. But it was basically all of it answering my question. That it pointed it out that this Sandy woman had been doing that. Had been telling Joan some kind of negative stuff. It was something about just, what was it? It was something along the line of just, I don't even know how to say it, like I was being rude about Joan, that I was basically trying to say that I was doing that. Okay, I don't know if you can hear all the noise in the background, but yeah, it started getting louder. But anyway, so all that happened, and then I said, that's it. That's, I'm just going to totally ignore that, and I kind of moved on, and I unsubscribed to both of them, I think at different times. But now there was something else. All right, in the middle of all this, at some point, I don't know how close it was to the end of it, but Joan basically learned how much of a liar that Sandy was, or is. And it was something that Sandy showed on video. It was basically her house. And it was her house. And Sandy had been, I guess, to Joan putting off because that's what Joan said. She didn't point her name, but yeah, it was pretty obvious that Sandy was putting herself out as though she was wealthy and had a lot and had a big home, a new home, whatever. And it was the opposite. And Joan saw the video and pointed that out. Now, Joan had a little attitude about herself that I thought was like as though she thought she had to be the one who was wealthy. Okay, and everybody else was beneath her. And they weren't at her level yet. And one time, when Adam bought his new SUV, I just got a new SUV in May, but he bought his before mine. I don't know, how many years ago was it? 2 or 3? Maybe 3. Maybe 4. I don't know. But I think it was 3. Anyway, Joan, I said mine on my video, I said that. Now, like I said, I don't know if she ever watched my channel. But I said that, he had bought a new SUV. And what kind it was, make, model, year, that it was brand new, no, not a used one. And the next thing Joan did was to make a video stating that she would never buy, and she didn't mention me at all. She didn't point finger toward me, but she said that make and model. She would never buy that kind. There's nothing wrong with that kind, not at all. But she was looking for, her husband was going to buy her a new SUV or minivan, I don't know, something, and that hers was this one. Well, hers was a used one, but she was putting it off that her used one was far superior to the new one. The make and model that Adam had bought. Like I said, she didn't mention his name, she didn't mention mine, but it was so obvious. Okay, very obvious. And she seemed like she had to be on top. Everybody had to look at her like she was on top for everything. Okay. So whatever game was going on between her, Joan and Sandy, that Joan would say that about Sandy's house, I don't know. Like I said, around this time with all that stuff going on, so much drama, just too much drama. And I was not on YouTube for drama, at all, really. And I said, I'm walking away from all that. And like I said, I started doing more on the channel about toxic people. Yeah. And I'm still there, still doing it. And every once in a while I put a video on that original channel. And my one on toxic people has more subscribers now for first time than that other one. So, yeah. But, okay. All right, now. Now, I don't even know how I can't even think of how it was, but basically I found out that these two women are making videos, still making videos. I don't know if they left for a while or what happened, after all these years, but, yeah. And I do wonder, seriously, because I've had a hint to it that maybe they're still out there, one of them at least, is still out there, Sandy, is still out there doing it to the same kind of thing to people. And what they wind up doing, it basically is what they're doing, when they do this, when she does this, is, like I said, she gets attention, more subscribers, therefore more ad money, and maybe, it just depends, and attention, and whatever she's really out for. And maybe she just gets that thrill out of, causing problems for other people. And I said, my goodness, how long can people go on? Well, I can tell you that I've had this happen to me, in face-to-face world since I was a kid. And one of them's been going on basically my whole lifetime. So, yeah, they can just keep carrying on, keep doing it, behind your back, backstabbing you, and so on and so forth. So, yeah. And you'll never know because it's behind the scenes. And if people aren't, I in a way think sometimes people who are don't have any strength, or they're flying monkeys to these people, or they're wanting some from, flying monkeys who want something for them, from them, whatever it is, whatever is the case, that you don't know because they're not telling you. They're not stating it flat out. Like this, Joan, she kind of hinted at it, okay, but she never said it flat out. So, but I got the gist from all those hints, and you won't know because, like I said, behind the scenes, but you couldn't even, there's no possible way you could come up, anybody could come up with what one of these Sandy type people who backstabs is telling people. Because you can't get in their mind, you don't know anything's happening, it's behind the scenes. And they can come up with all kinds of scenes and all kinds of things. And there's no way you have that kind of library where you can go through all of them and say which one they're doing. Which kind of smear campaign they're doing. So, don't feel bad if you don't know it, because who's telling you? How would you know it? You're not a fly on the wall. Yeah, and I know some people, they get upset. They said, I should have seen the red flags or something like that. There might not be any. There might not be any hints to it if nobody tells you. Okay, yeah, this is all over the place. I'm not used to doing videos like this, yeah, at all in this way. But, yeah, like I said, there's something that recently came up that really makes me wonder. And I'm going to do more videos if anything continues from there. Like I said, I really have just backed away from that. But I have 2 new ones, yeah. And I say new, that's relative. One is at least 2, I'd say both of them are around 2 years old. That they've been doing some weird crap. These type, that type that does weird things. And I would say not only, and neither one of them is just me. Now I know these are 2 new people, and I know they're not doing it just to me. Okay, it's to other people too. And that seems like, that just seems to me far too common, what they do. So, anyway, I think that's enough for this one. Like I said, maybe in the future, I'll talk more about them. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. Talk to you on another video.